responsible for what. Does that make sense?
It does.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tate.
Yes, sir.
Then we got Amy over here.
I think we're going to end up following you all over the city until we get what we want in the budget. But I was going to say this lastly, but I want to say it first. I think it's time that we petition the council to try to get some changes incorporated into the Mayor and Council Act that will allow Birmingham City Council women and council men to be able to do more for the citizens of Birmingham. Because right now it looks like our hands are tied. I appreciate the legislation. I appreciate your advocating. Some of that we can do on our own, but we really need you all to have a seat at the table when we're doing these things. We talk about balanced budget. One of the requests I have, and I learned from the previous council budget hearing downtown, the CF made it known that right now we do not have a balanced budget presented to the council. So you cannot pass the budget because we do not have all of the salary increases for the city employees presented in this budget. So we want a request to have a complete budget presented to the council so the council can act on that budget. Secondly, we need more money allocated toward our schools. We talk about economic development in our areas and how the homes are being abandoned and how citizens are leaving. But one of the main drivers in driving economic development is good schools. One of the reasons for good schools is investing in our schools and investing in our students. So because we do not have that in Birmingham, that's one of the reasons why our schools are not thriving. I'm not saying that is the complete answer, but that is part of the answer, that we need to invest more in our students and in our teachers and in our schools so that we can have more economic development in our areas and our schools can thrive. And then we'll see families wanting to move back in. We'll see tax bases go up. We'll have more money to fix these streets and also fix our neighborhoods. Lastly, I want to also advocate for more money for our libraries. Yeah. Our libraries and our schools are so connected. Our students leave school in daytime, they immediately go to the library. The library provides a lot of services to them, especially the downtown library. It looks beautiful on the outside, but if you go on the inside, it needs a lot of work. If you look in the capital budget that is online now, that goes through 2022, I think, there's very little in the way of capital improvement for our libraries. That has to change. And I'll say this lastly, I look at our budget model where our departments present to the mayor things that they want to see in the budget. I think we need to go to zero-based budgeting. I totally agree. Where every department head has to justify the expenses that they want to present in the budget. The council has to sit at the table to make sure that those amounts align with the priorities of the city. If they do not align with the priorities of the city, you send them back. So that way you make sure that if the police department needs funding, that it has it allocated in the budget. If the schools need funding, then that priority is set in the budget. But I think we need to go to zero-based budgeting. We have over 4,000 employees, so we have the employees. We have 365 days in a year. We have the time, and I think it's the right thing to do for Birmingham.
I totally agree with that, and we're going to go to AJ. Thank you, Faith. I totally agree with that because we have been talking about that for so many years about going to zero-based budgeting, and there are some other policies I didn't even mention, but one of those is actually dealing with the Blue Book and dealing with the budgeting process. We just voted on the budget process last week, I think, and the mayor vetoed that. We asked for it to go from May 20th, as I mentioned earlier, to May 1st. Just a few more weeks to have the budget done. Unfortunately, the mayor vetoed it. When it came for the council to override the veto, you have 6 council members that that have the ability to override the veto. Councilor Abbott took a walk. Who else? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. Roberson took a walk. Parker took a walk. Rafferty, she was there though, wasn't she? She was there, but the council members so they walked on the ability for us to vote to put the budget, to get the budget to us earlier. And along with that, in that same ordinance, or the same ordinance that we passed that the mayor vetoed, that we didn't have enough votes to override, that same ordinance even talked about the reporting requirements to the different committees and how we're supposed to receive those reports. because it is exactly everything that you just said. That was what we were trying to do. Some of the council members, the ones I just mentioned, did not feel it was important enough to vote on it, and so they walked. They didn't vote. But Councilor Lundy voted for it, Councilor Scales voted for it, Councilor Tyson voted for it. Who was the other? He wasn't there. He was out of town. But Rafferty, she walked. She didn't vote. No, she voted no. She voted no. It was Councilor Scales that sponsored it. It came out of the Governmental Affairs Committee. The council member said they hadn't seen it before. They had seen it. We voted on it. It's been vetoed before. The second time it's been vetoed. All we were trying to do at the end of the day was get up the budget 60 days ahead of the new fiscal year instead of it. Oh, and Council Tyson voted for it. 60 days ahead of the new fiscal year instead of us getting it, with this short amount of time to try to work on it. So anyway, we're going to keep trying because it's important, but it's everything, Mr. Tate, that you just said as it relates to the budgeting process, and I don't see why anyone would be against that, and certainly why the council members that walked on it did not vote to support it, because the ones that walked are the main ones that talk about fiscal accountability and transparency and all that, but yet they want to take a walk on something that would be transparent and accountable. But anyway, those are some, yes sir.